Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a video on something that I feel very passionate about. It is something that I hold very close to my heart because it is something that I have struggled with multiple times in my life, and I finally feel like I have actually crossed the threshold and I'm on the other side, and I know that I am because I have just experienced this lesson so many times, and I know that healing isn't entirely linear. So there have been times in the past where I feel like I have chosen myself, and then I've kind of fallen back into negative mindsets and kind of felt desperate for love and put myself in positions that just truly make me sad to think about. But I feel like I've gone through this enough time and the frontal lobe has developed. I'm 27 years old now, and I've actually been given opportunity to prove to myself and to the universe that I am not going to abandon myself to simply be chosen by other people or to try to receive love from other people or validation. And I feel like I've genuinely showed up for myself, and I have gone through, like I said, this lesson many times, and especially in the last year, and it was really brutal. I was in a very back and forth relationship with somebody that just was honestly not emotionally available at this point, and later found out that they were cheating on me, so that's why they weren't emotionally available, and what kind of led them to be so wishy-washy and back and forth and so confusing. But that was such a difficult time for me because I was so attached to this person, and I was so used to them acting this certain kind of way and being in love with me and being all about me. And then, their energy kind of started to change, and it really triggered this abandonment wound in me to want to earn their love and prove myself to them, even though they knew me very well and we had been together for a long time. And in general, there's no reason to ever do that. You should never, ever have to prove yourself to gain somebody's love. Or put yourself in a position to try to earn it and do the most to get them to see you and acknowledge you. It's only draining. It's only draining. And truly, it doesn't have to do with you. You're just simply more than enough already. You're perfect exactly as you are. Of course, none of us are actually perfect, and we probably all have things that we could work on, but your worth is inherent just from being alive. And we are all worthy of love and support and being cherished and seen and accepted. And so, if somebody isn't seeing you, it truly has nothing to do with you. It has to do with them. In this case, this person was not being honest with me and had such deep insecurity issues that he was dealing with. And, I'm here thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to be cooler. I need to be better. I need to be whatever, to get him to love me. And it actually had nothing to do with that. Or, these people just aren't meant for you, and you I don't know, it's just maybe not a good match. And I promise you that there are people out there that will be so excited to have you in their life. So I feel like that was a major lesson for me. And then, again, after that, I met somebody else that I was very interested in, and they, also just expressed to me that, they weren't interested in any kind of a relationship with me. But it was kind of after we had already basically been acting like we were kind of in a relationship. It's the situationship stuff. I just actually cannot do it, which is why I'm not casually dating anymore. But that unfortunately again triggered this desire to oh my God, I'm gonna make him fall in love with me, right? And thank God I snapped out of that pretty quickly. But there was a moment there where I really felt like I wanted to earn this person's love, and it lit a fire under me, and it made me act fucking weird. And it just was draining because I wasn't getting the response I wanted, right? And then most recently, there was somebody again later on that I was really excited to get to know. And it had been a long build up, and I genuinely just admired this person a lot from a distance and really thought that they just were so interesting, and I was just so intrigued to get to know them. So I was very excited about it, and we really hit it off. And it felt like there was a vibe being built, or I didn't have any crazy expectations, but it felt like there was at least going to be communication and honesty. And that person ended up ghosting me, and yeah, it sucks, right? And I've had to grieve that, or just feel the feelings of honestly just hurt from that. But that happening really, I'm like, okay, I already know how to respond to this. Like, I'm not going to waste my time or energy trying to get this person to see me. Been there, done that. I feel like I've actually learned that lesson. So I feel like this time was an opportunity for me to really show myself and show the universe that, like, okay, that's fine. Like, even though I was actually genuinely really excited about this person, I'm just gonna let it go because I don't want to waste any more of my time or energy trying to get somebody to see me that clearly just like doesn't have the capacity or whatever is showing me with their actions that they like aren't interested or that they don't care about my feelings, they aren't considering me. And that's the bare minimum, just to be considered. But like, there's people out there that will literally be so excited. Like, I just think about my friendships that I have and like how my friends will call me just to tell me that they love me and that they're thinking about me. Or like my friend Nazra was just visiting me, and just the excitement that we both get to see each other. We're basically like literally jumping up and down, like squealing, like so happy to see each other. And it's just like, there are people that will absolutely adore you and cherish you and show you with their actions. But I think that there just, unfortunately, is this wound that a lot of us carry, this abandonment wound, this like core wound. I just saw this video that like literally changed my brain chemistry. It altered my brain chemistry. And it was saying like, you don't want this person. They just don't want you. And it's triggering this core wound for you of like wanting to be chosen and wanting to prove yourself to them. And you're like addicted to this like chase and this, challenge of like trying to earn love from them. And I have been watching Love Island recently, and it actually makes me so sad because I feel like I'm seeing this on that show as well, where it's just like, I know that both men and women can deal with this, but I think that, I don't know, I'm a woman and I see a lot of my friends go through this, or I have just a lot of the women in my life where it's like, we have put men on a pedestal and being loved by men on a pedestal and really centered men, right? And our lives and their validation and the male gaze and all of that. And it's just so sad because I watch this show and there's just the most beautiful women. And I know that looks are not everything. Like I really, really, really know that. But just like these really cool, beautiful women. I'm thinking of this one girl specifically who just like, I'm just watching her do the most to gain this man's like attention and love, and he's like just doing the least. Like, he literally is like not putting in any effort. He's like barely giving her acknowledgement, and it's like she's just so satisfied with like the absolute bare minimum. And it just like, wow, it's so eye-opening to see just like this girl, just doing the most, putting in all this effort just to be chosen. And it's like, okay, once you get chosen, what are you actually getting out of it? What's your reward? What are you actually like, what is he contributing? Because honestly, it's like nothing. So it's like we just want to be chosen so badly, but then it's like, what's the actual benefit in that? And like, once you do get that person, like, are they actually contributing to your life in any kind of a positive way? Are they actually putting in effort? Like, it's just like, guys, it's so clear when you see it with other people, right? And it just makes me so sad and sick to my stomach because I'm just like, wow, and I'm not judging either because I've obviously struggled with this so many times, and I've struggled with this since a very, very young age, and actually on both sides of the coin. I will say, I think that maybe most common is that, like for me, in my case, when I had my first boyfriend at like 16 years old, he, had a lot going for him, and he was like very into lacrosse, and he already had this like scholarship for when he was going to go to college, and he was going to go to school in California. I'm from Washington. We were from Washington. So like my young adolescent mind, who like really, I just didn't, pursue anything in my life. I just really like kind of put him before me and kind of just like invested myself in his life. But I was kind of ignoring all of my talents, all of my goals, all of my own hobbies. And I really just centered him, and like my life revolved around him. So I was like, I'll follow you to California. I'll follow you to New York. I'll support you. I'll be there with you. I'll find a part-time job at a coffee shop or something. Like, I just had no drive for my own life, and that's not his fault. That was entirely me. He wasn't asking me to do that. That was, something that I had to reckon with and heal, and something that, was really eye-opening for me. And I've really had to be aware of that in my relationships, to not center other people and to not forget about my life and abandon myself in my life for love. It should never have to be that way. And so I think that a lot of times it kind of comes from that place of like ignoring your own life and your own goals and kind of centering this other person. But I've also experienced in that relationship that I was talking about at the beginning of this video with the person that was cheating on me, the beginning of that relationship, the majority of that relationship, I actually feel like he was a little bit more anxious than I was. And I don't think I was avoidant. He would probably argue that I was, but I actually feel like I was just very, very secure. And like, I just didn't want to talk on the phone all day, every day, because I've been in so many codependent relationships that, you know, I was just trying to be very aware, but I felt like I was still communicative, and I feel like I was still very, very invested in the relationship, and I would try to reassure this person all the time. I just think that this person had a deep lens of insecurity. So no matter how much I reassured them, I could be blue in the face and it just would not land with them because they just had all of these issues that they were not working through. So it's like, I could tell you I love you. I could be at your house all day long, making you a cake, making you dinner, being with you, showing you with my actions and my words that I'm here with you. And it's like, you're still going to be looking through my phone, which is fucking crazy. Okay. So of course for me, it got a little bit draining, you know, reassuring this person constantly. And it just feels like no matter what I do, it's not enough. So I feel like I've been on that side of the coin as well, where it's like this person wanted so much of my time and so much of my energy. And I struggled with setting boundaries. And I also struggled with like not wanting to hurt this person's feelings, not wanting to rock the boat in the relationship, and not wanting to be called avoidant, basically. So I would just like, you know, spend the majority of my time with this person, even though I'd have these deep inner callings of like, wow, it would feel really, really good to have some alone time, or like, I haven't seen my friends in a while. And then when I would see my friends, it felt like I still had to be in constant communication with this person. So it felt like I was abandoning my life because I was being too much of a people pleaser and giving too much of my time and energy away, and not enforcing like proper boundaries around my time and my energy, where it's like, I can still see you multiple times a week and we can still have this like very healthy relationship where we communicate like on a regular basis. But like, I still need to prioritize myself and my life as well, and my goals and my time. And I'm also somebody that like really needs time alone to recharge, and I shouldn't have to feel guilty for doing that. So I just feel like there are multiple different ways that we can kind of abandon our lives for the sake of a relationship, or for the sake of love, or for the sake of like friendship. And I just think it's so important that we really look within and that we try to heal those core wounds and really get to the bottom of where they come from, and just do the necessary work to feel better, because it just devastates me to see that we are, just abandoning ourselves and draining ourselves and doing the most to just simply be chosen, when it's like, if we could just heal and choose ourselves, we would see that like there is no lack of love, and we are literally made of love, and we are so full of love, and love is so abundant. Like, I know saying that like we are love maybe sounds a little crazy, but I genuinely believe it, and I genuinely feel it, and I just know it to be so true. And I just know that sometimes these scarcity wounds can come up, and this fear and this lack, and it's like, just inherently we are so full of love and we are so whole on our own. And then on top of that, it's like, I don't know, in my head sometimes I can be like, oh, I don't have any friends or whatever. I can get these kind of negative mindsets, and that's when I realize that I'm actually just focusing on the wrong relationships, and I'm focusing on the ones that really aren't pouring into me. But if I shift my focus, there are so many people actively in my life that are showing me and telling me that they love me. My friends that call me and just tell me that they're thinking about me, or that check on me, and my family that loves me and supports me. Like, I have so much love in my life, and I think it's so easy for me to just focus on the one person not giving it to me and be like, like I'm unlovable or nobody loves me. And it's like, that is so far from the truth. And I'm sure for you as well, there are people that love you. There are people that truly, truly, truly love you and care about you, whether you realize it or not. And also like yourself, like, I just think it's so important that we choose ourselves, and that we really take the time to like reconnect with ourselves in our lives. And I don't know, lately I've been so inspired by my younger self and how free she was and all the things that she was interested in. And I feel like I've always been like, I've always dealt with a lot of anxiety and struggled with a lot of anxiety. And I feel like in the more recent years, I've like grown to be more shameful of it, and I've really internalized it. But when I like look back at my younger self, I'm like, dang, she really just embraced that, and she didn't feel shame. Like, she just like laughed at it. And if I did something like awkward from anxiety, I would literally just like think it's the funniest thing ever. And I didn't internalize that deep like shame and embarrassment. So I feel like I've been so inspired by my younger self lately, and that has allowed me to just be so excited about my life. And I also feel like because I'm not pouring all of my energy and focus into people and these kind of like draining relationships, or maybe they're not draining, but maybe they're just not filling me with life, and they're not, you know, like really like adding to my life in a positive way. I feel like because I have finally like genuinely taken my energy away from those relationships, like I actually feel so full of energy for the first time in a really, really, really long time. Like, I genuinely don't think that I have felt this like energized and stable and honestly just like excited to be alive in years, probably, honestly, in years. And I did not even realize like how much I just kind of was putting my own life on the back burner for, you know, the sake of these other relationships. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm in a place where I feel like there's like unlimited possibility, and I just am really excited about the things that I'm interested in and the things that I'm learning and the things that I'm creating. And I just wake up every day, and like, of course there's like still negative emotions that I deal with, and of course like there's inconveniences and little things that have been popping up like here and there. That's life, and I don't think that ever ends. But I feel like I'm actually in such a stable place mentally and emotionally, and I genuinely just feel, for the most part, very excited to be alive, and just like excited to do the things that I want to do. And it feels like the world is my oyster, and there's like unlimited possibilities. And I feel like I'm granted this energy because I'm finally, just not pouring into relationships that aren't reciprocal. And I'm not saying that like you can't focus on yourself and have a healthy relationship. You can, but I think it's just really important that it's like we have proper boundaries for ourselves, and that, you know, I think like if you can get in a groove with yourself and your life and be focused on yourself, then it's like, I feel like we just meet people at the right time, and then those people can kind of meet you where you're at. And ideally they also have their own dreams and goals, and they're also prioritizing their life, and you guys can find a way to like be able to share that in a really healthy way, and support each other and encourage each other. And I think that that's where a healthy relationship comes from. And I think it's just like about feeling so whole on your own that it's like you can actually properly choose a good partner, and friendships as well. I've also been really struggling lately because I've just been realizing like, wow, I've been pouring so much of my energy into friendships that just like do not pour into me the same. And this is a topic for a whole nother video and something else I've been reckoning with, but just like, I think I'm a very loyal person, and I think that I really value like long-term friendships and relationships in my life. So there are many people that I've been friends with for over 10 years, but I feel like those are the people that I can really make excuses for, because I'm like, oh, I know their heart and we share all of this history. And I think it's so important that we actually like keep a lens of like pure presence and recognize that things can change and people can change, and we need to meet each new moment as if it is new, because it is, and recognize that like just because I've loved this person for this long time, or we had this dynamic in the past, does not mean that it still feels good or that it still feels the same way. And maybe I need to take a closer look at that and maybe make some necessary changes or boundaries. So I've really been reckoning with that in my own life lately, with really long-term, you know, friendships that I'm just like, dang, this doesn't feel good to me. It actually feels like bad. Like, it actually is not adding to my life. And not that I expect somebody to like add to my life financially, or, you know, like provide for me or anything like that. Like, I actually don't even have crazy expectations, you guys. I'm really low maintenance. I just want people that like love me and support me and are kind to me, you know? Like, it's really simple. And so I think that when we do operate from a healed place, we are able to like properly look at our relationships and choose ones that are actually supportive. But when we're coming from this place where we feel desperate for love, or we feel like there's a lack of love, or we don't feel whole within ourselves, or we're trying to fill some voids, I think that's when it gets really murky. And that's when we can be pouring into these relationships and saying yes to these relationships that like on a soul level don't feel good to us, and we know aren't right. And, you know, it's like that, accept the love we think we deserve. Yeah, I think it's so important. I'm really passionate about this because I just feel like I've spent so many years of my life, and like part of me wants to say wasted, but I know it's not a waste because I know it's just been my journey and it's led me to where I am now. But just, just not being excited about my own life and really putting myself on the back burner. And it's like, girl, if you're not living for yourself, who are you living for? Like, it makes no sense. Like, this is our one life and it's so short. And I think it's just so important that we do the things that we feel we need to do and that we like embrace our life fully, and it just devastates me to think about, all of the years that I've spent just abandoning myself, and same with other people in my life, and then same with just girls I see on TV. I'm like, dang, girl, stand up. Like, I hate it. And again, no judgment, but I just want us all to heal. It just like literally it makes me sick. And I just think that when we come from that unhealed place, it's like, I don't know, we can operate from a lens of insecurity of like, does this person like me? Does this person like me? Am I, good enough for them? But it's like, I don't know, guys. I think we just really gotta pause and be like, okay, but do I even like them? And are they even contributing to my life? And like, how do I feel about them? And really like deeply think about that, because I think especially as women, our standards, just from societal programming have been very, very, very low. And I think a lot of women are waking up to that. Like, I actually know that they are. And I'm not saying that I, hate men or that I like don't think that there's good men out there. I know that there are. I've experienced some, and I've witnessed some with my own real eyes. But I do think that, like, unfortunately, I mean, I live in LA. The dating scene is horrific from what I've experienced. And so I think it's just really important that we hold these high standards. And I do trust that, like, there are great guys out there, and I do trust the unfolding of my life, and I have a clear vision of what it is that I want to experience, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with a man, but I know the kind of love that I deserve and that I want, and I want, what I'm giving to be given back to me as well. Which means that I have to really hold myself accountable to be a good partner and be a good human and stay on top of that stuff, which I really genuinely try to do. But yeah, I trust in the unfolding of my life, and I trust that like my person or my people are out there, and that, the right friends and the right relationships are going to find their way to me. And I think that once you finally decide to say no to relationships that like aren't fulfilling you, that's when you get rewarded with the right ones. Like when you finally declare to the universe and to yourself, like, I am not going to abandon myself anymore, and I choose myself and say no and set the proper boundaries. That is when, the right people come into your life that actually like will pour into you and that do feel reciprocal and do feel life-giving. So I've experienced that at times in my life too, where I really finally said no to a certain pattern or an unhealthy person in my life. And then I met these amazing people, and felt instantly rewarded. So I'm kind of at a place now where I'm like, okay, universe, you can reward me at any time. I'm ready now. I'm ready to gain like an influx of money and success and amazing people in my life. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm very much so in the receiving mode anytime you want. But, yeah, this is just something that I've really, really been feeling very, very passionate about. And I just think that we need to take our power back and just need to chill, honestly. Chill and focus on ourselves and focus on, fulfilling our own needs and seeing ourselves and like being excited and celebrating ourselves again. And I've definitely gone through periods of my life where I felt really like prickly towards myself and just, harsh and like have noticed really negative thoughts towards myself. And I know that when I do that, I really have to like unplug from the outside world. And I'm like, okay, we clearly need to like sit with ourselves a little bit and like get a hold of this, because that's not our natural state. And, we are not our thoughts. And I think that our thoughts can really be molded by the outside world around us. And, social media, there's so many comparisons and there's just so much pressure. And I just think it's really easy to fall into those negative thought spirals and feel, pretty down on ourselves. And I just think that when we notice that, it's really important that we kind of take some time to really do whatever it is that you need to do to remember who you are and to return to a really loving and gentle place again. For me, that looks like generally doing mushrooms, having a little solo mushroom trip with myself. It's very therapeutic, and I really use them as a tool and a medicine, and I have a lot of reverence for them, and I feel like they really help return me back to like truth, honestly. or taking a social media break, or journaling, or just kind of sitting and talking with myself and giving myself a hug and being like, you know, like, what's up? Like, how have we been feeling lately? Like, what's going on here? And just reminding myself, of these truths, that I'm a person that is so worthy of love, and I deserve to live, you know, in my body and in my spirit and in my mind, like, in a safe space. Like, we're going to live with ourselves for the rest of our lives in our brain. So it's like, we have to really, really make an effort to correct those negative thoughts, and to, you know, not give into them, and just to do whatever it is, whatever your process is, to like, just remember that you are so worthy of love and sweetness and safety, as a bare minimum. I also was talking to my friend Trey like a couple of months ago, and I remember telling him how my partner, you know, that on and off thing was kind of pulling away, and how it was like triggering me. And I remember him telling me that actually when somebody stops showing interest in him, it makes him like not attracted to them anymore, because he's like, what's the point? Like what makes me attracted to this person is that they also see me, and that we can share this like mutual attraction and like excitement about each other. So when they, you know, pull away, he like has a very healthy response of like just not being into them anymore. And I think that's genuinely like how we need to be, and just we need to stop like, you know, taking it as kind of like a challenge to earn love. And I think that we just have to try to just fill ourselves with as much love as we possibly can. And I also follow this relationship specialist on Instagram. I've posted her name on my videos before. I can also put a little picture of her profile. Because her posts are very, very helpful for me. And she talks about like the avoidant partner, or like the emotionally unavailable person, and just like how we spend so much time like analyzing them and wondering what we did wrong, and trying to figure out the situation and get to the bottom of it when somebody doesn't choose us, instead of just recognizing that this person is not emotionally available and literally just moving on with our life. Like, we literally just have to acknowledge and accept. I know it can be hard to accept, but just accept what we're being shown and just move the heck on, because life is too short, and we are just so worthy of people that genuinely adore us and cherish us and pour into us. And I just think I've wasted, honestly, so much time just like wondering if I'm good enough for other people, or wondering, you know, just caring about what they think, when it's like they're actually showing me with their actions that they don't even consider my feelings. Like, why am I wondering what this person thinks of me when they clearly don't give a fuck what I think of them, when they're ignoring me, or, you know, ghosting me, or being an asshole? So it's just like, wow. I just feel like I'm seeing so clearly. And I feel really, really grateful for the work that I have done, and honestly for all of the painful situations that I've been put in that have led me to this like wisdom. Because, you know, that is how we learn our lessons, and then it's really important that we implement that learning. And so I feel grateful, I guess, that I was granted the opportunity to do that. And even though it sucks and I've had to like grieve and honestly just like, you know, hold space for myself to feel those hurt feelings of being mistreated or treated in a way that just honestly is like not fair or cool. I don't want to hold on to that, and I don't want to internalize that. So I've just been showing up for myself and healing and doing the things that make me feel good. And I genuinely, you guys, feel really, really, really good. And I feel really trusting. And I just feel, like I said, very, very excited to see what's to come, and just feel excited to be me, and excited to welcome the relationships that feel good and feel in alignment and feel right. And to just continue to nurture and pour into the relationships that I do have in my life right now that are showing me that they love me and care about me. Because I think, you know, that's where our focus should be directed. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to cut this off here. It's getting a little long. I love you guys so much. Just please do not forget that you are so worthy of love and like sweetness and kindness and, you know, like attentiveness, and really just not just the bare minimum, not just being chosen. Okay. Like, choose yourself. I choose you. Okay. Other people choose you. We need to just raise our standards and really just like fill ourselves with so much love. So we can just see things clearly and make, you know, right decisions accordingly. But I love you guys so much, and I am here for you, and I believe in you. Please be kind and gentle to yourself in this process. I know it's hard, but yeah, I believe in you. And I will see you guys again in a video soon. Thank you for listening. Okay, bye-bye. I love you.